What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome, welcome. For those of you joining in from either the other Let's Plays of Inquisition or Origins and a part of the Ninja Flips, I really value and appreciate your viewership. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who stopped in maybe out of curiosity, or maybe you're skeptical about the game because you heard bad press, had a bad first experience with it, were disappointed, whatever, maybe all the above. My goal here is to essentially point out some things that not only put this game in my top 10 all-time faves list, but I think as far as substance and quality, as well as just fun, really set this game apart, okay? And I would like to point out some of that stuff, maybe get a few converts along the way. That would just be awesome. All right, let's get into it.
I've had gentler invitations.
I am Cassandra Pentecost, Seeker of the Chantry.
And just, what are you seeking?
The champion.
Which one?
You know exactly why I'm here! Time to start talking, dwarf. They tell me you're good at it.
What do you want to know?
Everything. Start at the beginning.
Alright, now that sets our foundation for how this game actually plays out. Okay, and to start here, alright, we see Cassandra questioning Varric, and this is his tale. This is the story he's telling.
Scouts. We will have to fight them sooner or later. Then we make our stand here. Prepare yourself.
Now, for those of you that know Varric, I'm going to point out two things right here. Right, first is my sister Bethany there, the mage. Her exaggerated chest shows you where Varric's appreciation lies as far as she's concerned. Okay, this is the first version he's giving Cassandra, right? And the second thing I'd like to point out is that you are essentially invincible right here. You can't be killed. You're going to have access to what's basically superpowers. You get to play this. This was the tutorial section before Dragon Age 2 was released. And this, honestly, got me so hyped for the game it was ridiculous, because this is the combat I always wanted in Origins. In fact, if they could go back and remake Origins with this exact same combat system, skill trees, mechanics in place, oh my gosh, guys. How awesome would it be?
We can't keep this up forever. Perhaps we'll be lucky, and they'll run out of Darkspawn. Here they come. Shall I deal with them? All yours, sister.
Yeah, nice spells you have there, Bethany. Just awesome. Anyway. Okay, so the basis of this entire game essentially is you are playing through Varric's story. And I've heard them accuse, if it sounds like I make excuses, it's going to sound like that a lot because I've heard a lot of the arguments, all right, in one way, shape, or form or another. I've heard them. I've heard what people have said, and I'm not validating or unvalidating any of them, okay? I'm not saying anyone's complaint or criticism of this game was illegitimate or whatever, okay? But I will say that a lot of bad press and a lot of the reasons people despise this game is they had I guess either an expectation or an impression going in and expecting this game to be one thing. They never saw it for what it is. They just saw it for what it wasn't and then never gave it a chance. And then EA did no favors to themselves because the old regime, and many of those people, if you've kept up with EA, are gone now. All right, but their public relations department basically came out and said, anything you don't like, screw you, we already got your money. That was the message I got. I don't care if they actually said that or not. That was the impression I got, okay? And the impressions are what counts when it comes to advertising. Okay, if you're going to deal with your public and you give them a bad impression, I don't care how good your product is, it's going to come across with a bad taste. Here'll be our first taste of somewhat of a boss. Ogres look a bit different in this game, but there's no mistaking them for what they are. They stand out in the crowd, so to speak. Okay, so I will not make excuses for EA and the way they dealt with this game. They gave the developers a limited amount of time, limited resources, and said, we want double the money for half the work in half the time. Deliver it now, and if anyone's got a problem with it, as long as we get paid, screw them. And I think it was a lot of the old Big Cheese Power Wheel guys there in EA that knew they were heading out the door anyway. They knew they were leaving pretty soon, so they took the money and ran. But to be fair, given what they had to work with, I don't think they left us with a bad product at all. We're gonna set aside the copy and paste maps. That one thing, which I won't make excuses for that, right? It's limited. We're going to look at the story. We're going to look at the combat system, the numbers, and what they gave us to work with here. And it's friggin' amazing.
Bullshit. That's not what really happened.
Does that not match the story you've heard, Seeker?
I'm not interested in stories. I came to hear the truth.
What makes you think I know the truth?
Don't lie to me! You knew her even before she became the champion.
Even if I did, I don't know where she is now.
Do you have any idea what's at stake here?
Let me guess. Your precious chantries fall into pieces and put the entire world on the brink of war. And you need the one person who could help you put it back together.
The champion was at the heart of it when it all began. If you can't point me to her, tell me everything you know.
You aren't worried I'll just make it up as I go?
Not at all.
You'll need to hear the whole story.
And that's it. All right, so that's what we will be doing, right, in this playthrough, is we will be playing out Varric's story. We'll be filling in the blanks. And it was not lazy writing that made it to where, no matter what, it ends badly. Regardless of the decisions you made, it seems like it ends badly no matter what. That's the point of the story, is that human nature is involved here, right? And we are flawed. And that is something BioWare tries to hammer into our heads with these games, and it's no different here. All right, we are flawed, and this is going to end badly no matter what. It was destined to happen, all right? So we make the best of it along the way, get rid of as many baddies as we can, all right? But the storytelling is impeccable. The voice acting is impeccable. I think some of the art and design, shading, lighting, ambient lighting, the little textures that float through the air and stuff like that. Even some of the textures on, like, the concrete and the ground, some of it's amazing here. Not a whole lot of unpixelated globby mess when you get up close to an object. A lot of things have a lot of definitions. I mean, for a last-gen game, in a lot of ways, I think the art and the way that art is presented, I think is amazing in a lot of ways. And if they had a limited time, well, then even more kudos to them for stuffing as much as they could into this game in a limited amount of space. And space is really the only downside, is the limited explorable areas where they reuse a lot of areas for different stuff. Fine, but I'm going to concern myself less with where I'm doing it as opposed to what I'm doing there while I'm there, right? And that's where this game really shines, is the combat system, the tactics menu that you're given. Okay, one downside to playing on consoles, you don't have the point-and-click use of the tactical map. Well, what I'm going to present to you guys here, and I think it's more fun to watch. In my opinion, it's more fun to play also, but I can say it's probably more fun to watch. Let me know if you agree. To see the fluid, non-stop action and seeing all the animations really come to life this game has to offer, because you zip around like a hamster on crack and coffee. I mean, you're just flipping all over the place like a freaking ninja, and it's regardless of what class you're playing. The mages seem to be as badass at melee as they are in casting spells. The warrior zips around, hacking everything in half, body limbs flying everywhere. I mean, it's gory and it's brutal. And that's another part of the storytelling here, is this game is, even though it takes place over years, this story is fast-paced, it's dynamic, and it's brutal. And they brought that to life in the combat here. The combat actually takes a step back and gets a little more sluggish in Inquisition, to be honest. But here, it's brutal, efficient, gory, unmerciful. Okay, when you kick ass, you kick ass in this. I love it. I love it. This is one of the best action combat RPGs I've ever played. And then we're just, you get off into the voice acting and the storytelling and the whole atmosphere that they provide in the game and the emotional feels you get with some of your followers and stuff. And come on, man. This game's epic on a lot of levels, all right? And so you can, if you can't see the forest for just 1 or 2 trees, then honestly, I can say you're cheating yourself. And not in a bad sense. This isn't a criticism for you if you didn't like this game. What I'm saying is it's possible that having the blinders on already, that not being able to see past that to see where this game really, really shines. So I'm really going to try to point all that out. And like I said, I'll hopefully get maybe a few converts, maybe some people giving this game a second chance or a first chance that didn't because of bad press. And bad press that EA actually had coming. They deserve that with what came out of their mouths, right? But what this game has to offer, what the developers gave us, in this little nutshell, is just, it's awesome. It's amazing. I can go back and play this game before some of the other Origins or the other Dragon Age games, honestly. This game is still a lot of fun. I got that feeling when I loaded it back up to start this Let's Play for you guys. I got that feeling of returning to a game that you were missing, but you didn't know you were missing it until it loads up and you get that familiar sounds, the songs come back to you, your character comes back to you, you get to make you get that excitement like, yeah, I'm about to play. Okay, that's what it's about. And if I can still get that years later, having played through this game a lot on 2 different systems, okay, yeah, that says something.
Had been unleashed on Ferelden. Darkspawn poured out of the wilds, clashing against the army at the ruins of Ostagar. The battle was a disaster. King Kalen died on the field with his men, betrayed by his most trusted general. Unopposed, the Horde marched on the village of Lothering. The village burned, and many innocents were slaughtered. The champion's family barely escaped in time.
All right, that sets the time frame for this story, where we're starting here. Shortly after Lothering is destroyed.
I think that's all of them.
For the moment,
Make us save us. We've lost it all. Everything your father and I built.
at least we're alive. That's no small feat.
Yes. You're right.
We should have run sooner. Why did we wait so long?
Why are you looking at us? We've been running since Ostagar.
Not to interrupt, but the Blight's not going to wait while we stand here pointing fingers.
Please, listen to your sister.
Then let's go. Lead on.
I think my Hawke looks slightly young and sarcastic. I think that's very cool. Also like that your dog is a summons. I think that's a very cool addition to this. Essentially an extra tank, at least for time being, to occupy enemies. When he gets hurt enough, he leaves, and then after a certain period of time, you can summon him back. All right. One beautiful thing I really want to point out, the way they design the combat system here, is you essentially build your character in 3 different ways. All right. You can make or break your character through your attribute points, and make or break your character through the skills that you pick, and make or break your character to the way you set your tactics, whether you stay in your tactical menu all the time or not. Right. But there is a way to set your tactics for your party to where you essentially don't have to go into tactical menu. I mean, there's so many fine-tuned instructions that you can give everybody, including your main character, should you switch to another character to play, that have them acting the way they're supposed to. I mean, you can really fine-tune the AI to do what you want it to do the way it's supposed to do it. And for the most part, it works, okay? And so I'll show you how I like to set my tactics, although there's some things where sometimes I go, I could do this or this, you know? And we'll see some sticky points where I'm like, well, I could sacrifice this for that, but if I do that, then I can't do this, you know? But it's synergy, all right? Party synergy comes into play in such a major way in this game, more so than in Origins or Inquisition. I can honestly say that. This skill plays off that skill, plays off that skill, and if your party member picks that skill and then puts this in tactics and then upgrades that skill over there, that plays into this one, and I mean, everything feeds into everything else, and you get this almost like you can see a snake swallowing its tail. You get this circle of synergy, the circle of life going through your party to where you become this machine of brutal efficiency. And you're zipping all over the battlefield and everyone's doing their thing. And as soon as an enemy steps out of line, he gets obliterated. And man, when you watch it come to life, when you see your tactics actually working, that's a reward in and of itself. I think that's awesome. That's like seeing a good character build own the battlefield. Not because you've used any cheats or exploits, but just because you put your mind to it, put some thought into it, and said, what if I did this? And find out that it has this amazing overall effect on the whole party chemistry. Not just one particular skill or something, but you see everything work together. And it's friggin' incredible. It honestly, it gives you a whole, once you start looking into it and you see this blank canvas available to you to just paint on however you want with all these different colors, oh my god, it gives you a new game to work with, essentially. And that's really what it was like. That really came, I actually saw that later than I should have, honestly. Kind of ashamed to say, is that I didn't see that at first. But when I switched to Nightmare and was like getting insta-destroyed, even right here in the tutorial, when I first switched to it, I was like, oh, this is such a steep spike in difficulty. What's going on? And I realized it wasn't bad design in the game. The game is balanced perfectly for Nightmare. All right, it's all about build. If you don't get it, you have to go learn it, and if you don't go learn it, you won't have it. I'm sorry they dumbed that down in Inquisition, that they didn't require you to go do your homework a little bit and go learn what tactics did. Go learn what certain skills worked with others. Go learn how combos work and things like that, to really actually utilize them to your own benefit, to not just make Nightmare survivable, but to make it where you can dominate on Nightmare. And if you put enough thought into your build and your tactics, you can actually do that. And that's when that's another sense of accomplishment. I didn't just beat the game. I learned the mechanics of the game and used them to the best of my ability. All right. And that I think is friggin' awesome. And that comes to life here. Like, I can honestly say almost no combat system that I've seen in other games. I mean, like I said, they watered the crap out of this in Inquisition. As beautiful as Inquisition looks and as fun as the combat is there, it's a little more sluggish and it's a lot watered down and it's dumbed down to make it more accessible to more players. I get that from a financial standpoint, I guess. But for the core gamer who appreciates the genius they put into their combat system, it came to a head here. Not in Origins. It came to a head here. This is where it shines.
Wait, where are we going?
Away from the Darkspawn, where else?
And then where? We can't just wander aimlessly. So long as we wander aimlessly away from the Horde, I'm happy.
We can go to Kirkwall.
Well, that wouldn't be my first choice.
There's a lot of Templars in Kirkwall, Mother. I know that, but we still have family there, and an estate.
Then we need to get to Gwarin and take ship.
If we survive that long, I'll just be happy to get out of here.
Now we fight!
Okay, now, in just a few sentences of dialogue, how is it that I know the character of my whole family right here in the first couple minutes of the game? I know Mother is reasonable. Uh-oh. Oh, we get to meet a new person here. She's going to be a key to our game. Aveline is an absolute friggin'... Well, she's a tank. She's the definition of the word tank.
You will not have him!
You want to talk about loyalty? That's someone that's got your back right there. Against the world,
He will not have you.
she's not going to back down. And you learn more about Aveline in 2 seconds than you would in 100 hours of gameplay without just that one scene. All right, but look at our family. We learned that Bethany is kind and caring, thoughtful. She'll take care of business, but she's more the little girl at heart. And then Carver's more of a stubborn, obstinate, obnoxious, probably semi-shallow kind of asshole. And then Mother is weighted down by the concerns of the world and maybe decisions she's made and so on and so forth. You learn so much in almost no time. And oh yeah, with Nightmare comes Friendly Fire, and with Friendly Fire comes stunning the crap out of yourself. with your own stun bombs, your miasmic flasks, I think they're called. I will be taking those off. Oh, keep this in mind. One really cool thing is the Black Emporium, which is a DLC. It comes free. If it didn't come with your edition, then you can go into your, I don't know, PSN, Steam, Xbox Live, whatever, and get it for free.
You'll make it worse.
Apostate, keep your distance.
Well, the Maker has a sense of humor. Darkspawn and now a Templar. I thought they all abandoned Lothering.
The Spawn are clear in their intent, but a mage is always unknown. The Order dictates.
Wesley.
That woman is an apostate. The Order dictates.
No, you don't, buddy.
Dear, they saved us. The Maker understands.
Let's see if a Templar is capable of common sense and reason.
Of course.
I am Aveline
Barely.
Belen. This is my husband, Sir Wesley. We can hate each other when we're safe from the Horde.
A strange time to be hunting apostates. His fellows left with the Chantry priests.
I was traveling to Denerim on business for the Order, but I had to turn south when I heard of Ostagar.
Bad luck and judgment brought us together here before the attack.
The nice Templar has been convinced to postpone his hunt for illegal mages. So let's not dwell upon it, shall we?
Wise girl.
You're quick to offer your allegiance.
Another blade between us and the Darkspawn? Yes, please.
So long as the Horde is their first concern.
My duty is clear, but that is for another day, if we are granted that opportunity.
We will be fine. We all will.
For a while, it looked like we were the only ones to escape the Darkspawn.
We aren't free of them yet. Just like at Ostagar, this is just the start.
You were there. Yes, I see it now. Third Company, under Captain Varric.
Then you saw how the whole of the army was defeated.
We fell to betrayal, not the Darkspawn. This arm of the Horde will not have the same advantage.
So long as you know I stand with Bethany, Templar.
Understood.
For now, we move with you. North is cut off. We barely escaped the main body of the Horde.
Then we're trapped. The wilds are to the south, that's no way out.
If the options are south or die, I'll take my chances with south.
Good point, Aveline. It was Lothering that destroyed the forces at Ostagar, not the Darkspawn. Or whatever was impersonating Lothering. Still kind of stuck on that. But, alright, so, if Wesley was traveling to Denerim and had to head south, I don't know, I mean, this may be common knowledge. Maybe he actually was at the Circle, but if he witnessed the events at the Circle Tower, which from Origins we know what happened there, then his immediate distrust and harsh dealing with any mage, period. He didn't even bother to ask Bethany if she's from some circle. He just assumed she was an apostate and was ready to react accordingly. Okay, that kind of knee-jerk reaction comes from either real bad experience with mages, or that he's just one of the seeming majority of Templars now that have lost their whole point and purpose, the reason they exist in the first place, to just become essentially mage hunters, all right, which was never the point of their order. Their order was to keep mages disciplined so that they could use their magic to benefit others rather than destroy everybody, which, well, doesn't work. They always end up using their magic to destroy everybody, but be that as it may, the Templars have essentially lost their way. In other words, all the institutions that men have put in place, Circle Tower, Templars, Chantry, Seekers, Wardens, you name it, we find out in Inquisition, all of them have gone astray. They're all corrupt and are not capable of being redeemed, even if they're worth redeeming, which is questionable because if you see the way they end up, you realize that once you involve human nature with anything, you corrupt it to the point that it becomes something other than what it started as. You know, that's any institution. It's why, you know, you say, well, this institution is a good thing. Why is it doing this now? No, what it is it became a bad thing. How things start and how they end up are two completely different things. Right, so we learn that here, and we see that Oh, geez, in spades when it comes to the Templars and the mages in this game. All right, this is going to tell much of the story, give you a good sense and feel of the overall ambience and atmosphere to the world in general, all right, and the events which cause that. The things that come to a head aren't necessarily actions. Some of them are reactions to other things that have been building up over time and that were inevitable. Once again, the point of this story is that it can't end well. It can't, right? For those of you familiar with Inquisition, you know where it goes. For those of you who haven't seen this yet, well, you'll see. If it seems like a catch-22 that there is no right choice, sometimes in real life, that's just the way it is. Sometimes there is no right answer, or sometimes there is no best solution necessarily. Sometimes it is the lesser of two evils, and that's the reality. Well, I don't like that. Doesn't make it less true. You hear me say that a lot. That's a quote from Morgan, and I actually use that in life a lot. Not liking it doesn't make it less true. Not being willing to face a fact doesn't remove the fact that it's a fact. And what exactly is Sir Wesley doing there? Aveline, does your husband need some alone time? Okay, well, yeah, we're gonna unsee that real quick. Sorry, guys. I wasn't aware Sir Wesley had moments like that, you know. Darkspawn horde coming. Might as well go ahead and... No, never mind. We'll just leave that alone. So, alright, so from a story standpoint, we'll of course get into that as we go along. From a combat standpoint, try to give you guys no pause playstyle, right? Keeping track of the battlefield, dictating what our party members do and when they do it and how they do it. Setting up a lot of combos in tactics where you don't have to micromanage them. They'll happen automatically, but there needs to be a lot of if-then type stuff. You know, if this is the case, then this party member needs to do that. Not like, you know, no matter what the case, my party member needs to do this all the time. Well, if once again, it comes true like all the other Dragon Age games, is when you factor in stamina and mana, all right, having a party member do the best stuff all the time, every time, without cooldowns, without any mana reserves, is it's not going to happen. Okay, one has to keep in mind that certain things fulfill a certain role. Like if there's an ability which creates a combo when used with another ability, like say if an enemy's frozen and a shield bash or something can shatter them, you know, maybe an assassinate or something like that can shatter them, then don't use assassinate unless that enemy's frozen. If you're just spamming assassinate when that enemy actually is frozen, it won't be on cooldown or available for you to use it. So there needs to be a lot of if-then type stuff. That's the basic underlying principle behind setting party mechanics. Okay? And it's understanding what the combat expects from you, right? It expects you to have a tank, it expects you to have damage dealers, and expects you to have a healer to keep that tank on their feet, right? You've heard this in my other Let's Plays, and it's no different here. It really comes to a head here, actually, is Aveline needs to be able to draw the attention, take damage, sometimes even on behalf of others, all right? And the mage needs to be able to keep Aveline on her feet, because once she gets all that attention, I mean, she can take, at a certain point in the game, there'll be a time where she can take a tremendous amount of punishment, but still, that has its limits. So, your mage needs to be aware that Aveline's presence on the field, drawing the hate and keeping it, so that you can get in there and get all your sexy backstabs and your AoE stuff and whatever. That's a must-have. As soon as she's down, basically the party gets wiped, type of thing. All right, and if you don't have damage dealers in there, if they're getting, you know, if they're real squishy and they're getting knocked down immediately because the tactics aren't set quite right, then when they go down, Aveline's going to have to stand up too long because these enemies that are hacking away at her aren't dying. There's nobody there to take them out of the game. She can only get pounded on for so long. So the damage dealers, essentially your job is to get rid of those targets who are concentrating on Aveline. And keep that basic theory, that basic principle active in your gameplay is what essentially makes this work. And so there's all kinds of different ways you can play with the tactics to make that work right. Yeah, I don't know that there's any just one specific path. You know, everyone has different game strategies, you know. Some are tanky, some are more offense-minded, some like to be the glass cannon, the ultimate DPS, which is similar to how I design my rogue here. And then others would be the one that I may only do 2 points of damage, but damn it, I can take 1,000,000 points of damage, you know? However you want to play. But there has to be a balance in your team. You know, you got a right hand and a left hand. You got a right leg and a left leg. You know, and they don't all do the same thing. You're not necessarily going to walk on your hands or type with your feet. You know what I'm saying? Each part of the team has its own role, and if everyone's doing their role exquisitely well, then the whole team functions better as a whole. I am playing with my miasmic flask. Something to note: the Black Emporium, which I was going to mention earlier. It's a free DLC. You can get it free through PSN or Xbox Live, whatever. And essentially, what it does is it allows you to go in and buy some cool stuff. There's some funny codecs in there and some really cool things. We'll visit that place just to listen to some of the dialogue and stuff in there. It's hilarious, actually. But you have the option to buy these things called Maker's Sai, which allows you to respec. And I'm going to be buying several of them because basically a lot of the default skills aren't going to apply to my party build, right? Like a wasted skill point is a big deal in this. You don't have many more skill points than what you had to work with in Origins, but you have essentially twice as many skills to choose from. So there's a lot more paths you can take to build your ideal character, but the same number of skill points to deal with, and some skills require other skills which you may not even be using to activate. Like you say, okay, if I've got 20 points, I've got these 20 skills. But to get those 20 skills, you may need 25 or 30 points because some of those skills require other ones you're not going to use as a requisite to pick that skill. So it takes a lot of planning, a lot of thought to find all those skills that are going to have good synergy with one another. Anyway, so some of the starting skills I won't be using. Like Miasmic Flask is not something I'll use in my particular gameplay. So what I'll do is I'll respec and I'll get that point and I can put it somewhere else. Into something, you know, much cooler, like stealth or something. And the same is going to be true for most of my followers. I'll be respecking them also because they'll have a point, like Bethany with her Fireball. Fireball is a friendly fire ability. I can use it right here in the tutorial because I really don't have a choice, but I take that off and put it into something better like Heal, you know, or Glyph of Paralysis, which is probably the sexiest spell that the mages have. Glyph of Paralysis is going to save the day just as much as Heal will. And then eventually get to Haste. Haste is the absolute must-have for any party build in this game. Haste, Glyph of Paralysis. Those are key mage abilities. With the rogue, it's, you know, Assassinate, some the passives to buff critical damage and stuff. But for right now, I might as well make her better at what she's already doing. I can't take the points away at the moment, so I might as well just trump those up. I'll be respecking Aveline too. I'll start with... I don't know that I necessarily have to with her. I don't remember what she starts with. It's been a while since I played. But, let's see. That's usable, I guess. I'll probably respec her anyway, because I want to break her down to 0 with her attribute points, so I can put them where I want, because she's going to need some mix of these willpower and strength and constitution. Some willpower to keep not only her passives going, but be able to do things. She's going to have to taunt. All right? She's going to have stamina available to taunt. So if I have her spamming a bunch of offensive crap, she's never going to have the stamina available to taunt. And that can be a problem. If she's not drawing the hate, then all those enemies are going after guess who? The mages and you name it, right? And so I have a good setting for her with taunt. But that's going to be later. For right now, we have an epic battle coming up that's... if we can just get away with one person alive, I'd be happy. Just put it that way. But, considering you don't have much to work with here in the tutorial, you're nothing like the Invincible version in Varric's first version of the tale. When it comes down to the truth, how the story really played out, shit, we just barely got through this. That's how it really went down. So, Varric is known to exaggerate epic tales of heroism and so on and so forth. Alright, so tactics good enough. Hopefully we can get through this right up here. Get on, and then we can head on our way, right? Trigger here in a second. There it goes. I found it is a little easier. Uh-oh. He may have been an asshole, but he was my brother. That's not cool. Okay, now it's serious, Ogre. You're getting screwed up now. Okay, I don't need to waste... Oh, well, okay, well, I thought I might have been out of the radius. Like I say, that is one skill I won't be using later. It's easier to switch to the mage here. It really is. It's also nice to have the dog. Sometimes if you are going to switch away from your main character, it's good to have activate dog as a, self-any activate dog. In other words, that should be the first thing your character does as soon as you move away to control another party member is summon the puppy. Trying to get this ogre down. I think we can deal with these minions. We can just get the ogre out of the way. I'm gonna lose somebody. I have to lose somebody. Probably my main character, right? I can't tank anything right now. Wow, okay, well that's cool. That was kind of clean, actually. And Aveline's doing her job. Notice my character's been pretty much at that health for a little bit. So Aveline's drawing the hate and keeping it. And it just gets better, It's better from then on. But I think, I'm hoping you guys can appreciate that with a good tactical design, that the combat is actually almost even more fun to be able to just run around and just hack away and be a ninja and stuff. I'm going to hope it's more fun for you guys to see, because then you might appreciate it a bit more.
The battle's over. We're fine.
I'm sorry, Mistress. Your son is gone.
No, these things will not take Carver.
Carver gave himself to save us.
I don't want a hero. I want my son. How could you let him charge off like that? Your little brother. My little boy.
Mother, we can't stay here. Carver wouldn't want his sacrifice to be meaningless.
Allow me to commend your son's soul to the Maker, Mistress. Ashes we were, and ashes we become. Maker, give this young man a place at your side. Let us take comfort in the peace he has found in eternity.
I will never forget you, Carver.
Till some mage in the sewers of Darktown summons him up as a demon.
At least Father will have company now.
Flames. We're too late.
Okay, key here. For those of you who may have thought that it was over and then ran into trouble right here. The archers. Kill the archers. All these melee guys are a distraction. Once you kill the archers, this is over. Doesn't matter how many of these other guys are left alive, but well, it helps if you're actually able to target them. I guess I could be running around assassinating them with my rogue, but he's right. It doesn't really matter. There we go.
There's no end to them.
So there was some truth to the first version, the Marvel superhero version of the tale, with the big chest and all that. And who is this?
Well, well. What have we here? used to be we never got visitors to the wilds, but now it seems they arrive in hordes.
Impressive. Where'd you learn how to turn into a dragon?
Perhaps I am a dragon. If so, count yourself lucky. The smell of burning Darkspawn does nothing for the appetite. If you wish to flee the Darkspawn, you should know you are heading in the wrong direction.
Wait. You can't just leave us here.
Can I not? I spotted a most curious sight. A mighty ogre vanquished. Who could perform such a feat? But now my curiosity is sated and you are safe for the moment. Is that not enough?
You could show me that trick of yours. That looks useful.
If only a clever tongue was all one needed. Tell me, clever child, how do you intend to outrun the Blight?
We need to get to Kirkwall, in the Free Marches.
Kirkwall? My, but that is quite the voyage you plan. Your king will not miss you, hmm?
I'm sure he'll miss his life more.
Oh, you I like. Hurtled into the chaos, you fight, and the world will shake before you. Is it fate or chance? I can never decide. It appears fortune smiles on us both today. I may be able to help you yet.
Anything you could do for us would be appreciated.
Maybe we shouldn't trust her. I don't even know what she is.
I know what she is. The Witch of the Wilds.
Some call me that. Also Flemeth, Asha Belinar, an old hag who talks too much. Does it matter? I offer you this. I will get your group past the Horde in exchange for a simple delivery to a place not far out of your way. Would you do this for a Witch of the Wilds?
Should we trust her?
Wesley is injured. We'll never escape the Darkspawn.
If you need to, leave me behind.
No. I said I would drag you out if I had to, and I meant it.
What is a Witch of the Wilds exactly?
A chastened legend. Witches that steal children.
Bah, as if I had nothing better to do.
You're an apostate?
Yes, just like you.
You would go through all that trouble to have something delivered?
I have an appointment to keep. It is far more convenient this way. Happily, you're not without your own needs.
How much trouble will this delivery be exactly?
About as much trouble as my saving your lives not 5 minutes ago.
Good point.
If you knew my daughter, you'd know how seldom I hear that.
Roast a few more Darkspawn? I'll do anything you want.
Sadly, my charity is at an end. There is a clan of Dalish elves near the city of Kirkwall. Deliver this amulet to their keeper, Marithari. Do as she asks with it, and any debt between us is paid in full. Before I take you anywhere, however, there is another matter.
No, leave him alone.
What has been done to your man is within his blood already.
You lie!
She's right, Aveline. I can feel the corruption inside me.
What are you talking about?
From the Darkspawn. All that blood. I knew when it happened.
And how much time before you?
Not long now, if I am any judge.
There must be something we can do.
The only cure I know of is to become a Grey Warden.
And they all died at Ostagar.
Not all, but the last are now beyond your reach.
Aveline, listen to me.
You can't ask me this. I won't.
Please. The corruption is a slow death. I can't.
He's your husband, Aveline. I can't decide his fate.
Hell of a decision to make. I mean, there really is no choice.
My love.
Wesley had a strong woman. Seriously.
Without an end, there can be no peace. It gets no easier. Your struggles have only just begun.
Flemeth,
I thought that might interest you.
you expect me to believe a myth swooped out of the wild to save the champion?
Oh, come now, Seeker. Do I need to recite the tale of the Warden as well?
Ostagar.
No. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised to hear of her involvement.
I liked my version better, too.
What else aren't you telling me, then? Did she send someone with the champion?
In a manner of speaking.
So it's true. Continue. But if you tell me they all flew to Kirkwall on a dragon...
Nothing so fanciful, I assure you. The witch kept her word, and got them to Guaran, where they took ship. They sailed north across the waking sea, lashed by terrible storms. 2 weeks they spent in that dark hold, packed in with the fearful and the desperate. And then they saw it. Kirkwall, the city of chains. Long ago it was part of the Imperium, slaves coming from far and wide to work the quarries. Now, it's a free city, but I use the word loosely. Sail through those black cliffs and you'll see what the slaves of old saw. The gallows, welcoming you.
It's been horrible.
That's where their ship landed, with all the rest.
Tevinters certainly do like their slaves. Constant source of labor and power for their blood magic. It's probably almost like a drug to them, having an abundant number of slaves at their disposal to do with is whatever. They'd be treated worse than livestock, you would think. Just a resource to be harvested and used. I like this intro. I like this art, personally.
They're not letting anyone into the city.
What? That can't be.
It's true. Look at them all.
They're Fereldans, just like us. Fleeing for their lives.
And they would throw us all back to the wolves. Unbelievable.
I'm only surprised they let us dock.
We need to find Gamlen. Our family has always been highly regarded in Kirkwall. He can do something, I'm sure of it.
Let's hope he received your letter.
The guards seem to be reporting to that man. Perhaps we should speak to him.
And that's what we'll do on the next one. But all right, we have arrived in Kirkwall. We'll carry on with the adventures of our Hawke. All right, thank you for watching. And if you want to catch another one of these videos, click the box in the middle. If you want to subscribe, hit that button right up there on top. And until the next one, y'all take care. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.